She called the cops on her neighbor. But when the police arrived, she found out she'd called them on her own chief of police. The pounding on my front door sounded like a battering ram. I froze mid-sip, coffee halfway to my lips. It wasn't even 8 a.m., and I already knew exactly who it was. Through the glass, I saw Linda Crawford, our HOA president, red-faced, fists clenched, yelling something about stolen property. Behind her stood her 18-year-old son, Ethan, arms crossed and wearing that arrogant smirk I'd come to hate in the short 3 weeks since I'd moved here. "Open this door right now," she barked. "I know what you've done. The police are already on their way." I actually laughed. If only she knew. I set down my cup, clipped my badge to my belt, and opened the front door instead of the garage. The look on her face when she saw me standing there calm as a breeze was almost worth every bit of harassment I'd endured. But let me back up and explain how we got here. 3 weeks. Earlier, I'd just moved into Silver Maple Estates, a neat little neighborhood tucked outside of Atlanta. After 20 years in law enforcement, I'd finally been promoted to chief of police, and I wanted something quiet, a place where I could finally breathe. I bought a cozy 3-bedroom home with a 2-car garage, the perfect place to keep my pride and joy. A 1970 Dodge Challenger RT in deep plum purple. My dad and I restored it together before he passed away. Every bolt, every shine of the chrome reminded me of him. It wasn't just a car, it was a memory on wheels, but not everyone appreciated it. Enter. The HOA queen, Linda Crawford, lived 5 houses down, but she ran the whole neighborhood like it was her personal fiefdom. The first time I met her, she handed me a binder, color-coded, labeled Community Expectations. Then she smiled that tight, fake smile, and said, "We take pride in maintaining order here. Mr. Lawson, I trust you'll be cooperative." I smiled back and said nothing about my job. I've learned people treat you differently when they know you're the police chief, and I wanted to be just another neighbor. That didn't last long. Trouble begins a week later. I was polishing the Challenger when Ethan swaggered up the driveway like he owned the place. "Cool car," he said, dragging his hand along the hood. "Thanks," I replied, wiping the smudge he left behind. "What engine is that?" "426 Hemi," he grinned. "You should let me take it for a spin sometime." "I just got my license?" I almost choked. "Sorry, kid. This car doesn't leave the garage unless I'm behind the wheel." He frowned. "You know my mom runs this whole place, right? She can technically make you share community assets." I raised an eyebrow. "This garage is not a community asset." He scowled, muttered something under his breath, and stormed off. Not even 30 minutes later, knock, knock, knock. Linda stood on my porch in what I can only describe as her battle uniform. Navy blazer, HOA pin shining, clipboard in hand. "Mr. Lawson," she began. "My son tells me you were disrespectful to him." I blinked. "He asked to drive my car." I said no. Her lips tightened. "Ethan is a responsible young man. Around here, we value neighborly cooperation." I forced a smile. "I value my insurance policy," she huffed. "We'll see if that vehicle even complies with HOA standards." And from that moment, the war began. The petty campaign. Within days, I started getting HOA violation letters like clockwork. "The car's color is too distracting. It's parked at an angle that disrupts visual harmony." My favorite? "The vehicle may encourage street racing culture." I politely cited actual HOA bylaws proving she was full of it. Every single time. That only made her more furious. Then Ethan came back, this time with his 2 meathead friends. "Hey, Mr. Lawson," he said, fake grin plastered on his face. "We were wondering if you'd changed your mind about that ride. Just one quick spin around the block." "The answer's still no, Ethan." One of his buddies stepped forward, cracking his knuckles. "Come on, man. Don't be that guy." That's when my cop voice came out. "You boys need to leave. Now." They backed off, but Ethan muttered, "You'll regret this." The false report. The next morning, I saw Ethan and Linda outside my garage taking pictures of the car. I stepped out. "What do you think you're doing?" Linda crossed her arms. "Documenting evidence. That car isn't registered under your name. You're harboring stolen property," I sighed. She wasn't entirely wrong. The car was still in my late father's name. The paperwork was in progress, but I hadn't filed it yet. Police are on their way, she added smugly. We'll let them handle it. That's when I heard the sirens. 3 squad cars rolled up, lights flashing. Neighbors poured out to watch. Linda pointed dramatically at me. That's him! The thief! The officers stepped out and froze when they saw me. Chief Lawson? One of them asked. Morning, fellas, I said, sipping my coffee. Linda's jaw dropped. Chief? Yes, ma'am, said Officer Nguyen. This is our chief of police. The color drained from her face. Ethan took a step back like he wanted to vanish. The fallout eye handed Officer Nguyen the title documents and my father's will. Then I turned to Linda. Ma'am, you filed a false police report about a stolen vehicle and wasted emergency resources. Her voice trembled. I thought... You thought you could bully me. You thought wrong. Nguyen took her statement while another officer turned on their body cam. Within minutes, Linda was cited for filing a false report and harassment. Ethan was given a trespassing warning. As they left, Linda shouted, You'll be hearing from my lawyer. I smiled. Tell him to bring the HOA handbook. I'd love to go over Section 8, Paragraph 3 about misuse of authority. The viral aftermath by evening, half the neighborhood had seen the footage. Within a week, the story hit local news. HOA President calls cops on police chief, backfires spectacularly. The video went viral online. Ethan's tantrum became a meme. At the next HOA meeting, residents lined up to speak out against Linda. Stories of intimidation, fake fines, and her power trips filled the room. The vote to remove her as HOA president was unanimous. She stormed out, shouting, You'll all regret this. I made this neighborhood. An elderly neighbor replied, No, Linda, you made it miserable. 2 months later, her house went up for sale. As for me, I still polish my Challenger every Sunday morning. No complaints, no notes, just peace and quiet. The way it should have been from the start.